Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to today's Reinvent with Data and AI event. My name's Cameron Kelly, and I'm really excited to be your host for today's event. We're thrilled to have you join us to explore data and AI in Accenture and how artificial intelligence and data is helping shape the future of Australia. We'll be diving into sort of why data and AI is really hot today. I'm really proud to have four of the major capability leads in data and AI and Accenture on the call today. We'll introduce them as we go, but we're going to talk you through the various areas we see in the market that are hot. We're going to demo some of the stuff that we're doing. We're also going to have you hear from some of our amazing recruiters on Accenture, on what roles are open, and we're also going to answer some of your key questions. So firstly, introduction of me. I'm based in Brisbane. I lead Accenture's data engineering, data migration and data products capability here in Australia and New Zealand. I've been with Accenture just a little bit of time now, 22 years, approaching half my life. I've learnt an amazing array of things through the course of that career. It's been wild, diverse, interesting, but it's always kept me learning and growing the whole time and ever changing and continues to be super interesting. Niha's going to talk us through it at a point around the employee value proposition with Accenture. And she's going to talk through some really key areas ranging from awesome training, good presenting opportunities. And I've actually made use of nearly everything Niha's going to talk about through parental leave, corporate citizenship, volunteering, getting Accenture to help me raise a couple of $1 million for cancer charity here in Brisbane. So I really, really love some of the culture and values that we've got with our people here. And I really value the colleagues that are on the call with me. So Katherine, Dimitri, Brian, who I get to work with every day. They bring a great sense of fun and energy. And hopefully you'll see through the Q&A a bit of the dynamic between the leadership team here in data and AI. For engineering, the area I look after, probably got three really key booming, exciting areas at the moment. Engineering, cloud data engineers are near and dear to my heart. I've been leading that group for about 7 years. We're seeing an amazing array of work in Palantir, Databricks, Snowflake. On top of the key cloud vendors, Azure is big in the market, AWS and Google Cloud as well. We still see that data engineering forms, north of 80% of the work we see in data and AI. Without enterprise proprietary data, the impact and ability of AI is pretty limited for our enterprise clients. We still see a lot of work across a bunch of platforms that have been around a long time as well. Our Teradatas and Informaticas, DBT Talent, lots of interesting ecosystem partners that emerge and come and go throughout data engineering. But really connecting the data to the business is critical. And data products has been an area that we've seen really grow, and we've got a capability that's expanding rapidly there, really at the intersection between governance, data engineering and consumption. And we're really seeing that as a core way to see how investments that business is making and areas that business wants to improve get connected to enterprise data. Historically, our data teams and data teams at all of our clients have struggled to justify investments in maintaining data pipelines. We're seeing data products as a really good way to connect value to the actual core engineering work. And it's been really, really interesting to see that evolve over the last 24 months. And we're seeing that as really cool. And migrations, core part of what we do here. I think probably if I think back over the last 7 or so years, a lot of clients established an enterprise data lake pretty early, moved some of the easy low-hanging fruit across established greenfields lakes, started to connect the enterprise. But there's still a big amount of large, complex data migrations that are needed across the Australian enterprise, and we're starting to really bite those off. And we're really lucky that coincidentally Gen AI has come along just at the time we really need it. A lot of the really complex enterprise migrations, 20, 30 years of accumulated knowledge in systems where the systems moved from one organisation that built it, maybe through multiple service providers or definitely through the hands of many people inside an organisation. The residual knowledge is often not there. Documentation probably isn't what was needed. And we've really found that we can use generative AI to untangle the spaghetti mess of really complex landscapes. We've built some wonderful tools and we're also working closely with our ecosystem partners to really be able to untangle what I describe as was getting beyond human scale, the complexities of legacy warehouses, and move those to modern data platforms. So it's been really fun to use Accenture's size and scale and ability, our global network, to start to tackle some of these problems. I get every day to learn from my colleagues around the world, which is super exciting, and I really enjoy that part. So that's probably enough of an introduction from me. We were wanting to conduct a superpower Menti today, so we're going to flash up on the screen, and you should be able to notice in the on live platform there's also a link to a Menti, and it really is asking each of you to give us an example of what your superpower, your AI superpower would be. So if you could all bust out your phones or click on the link on your web browser and give us a sense of what your superpower might be. Maybe it's predict the future. Maybe it's be able to answer any question real time. I think I get excited about the potential future of something like Neuralink connecting me to AI. But what would your superpower be? We're going to do something fun with it whilst we're going through the course of this call. So I'll give everyone a minute to do that. All right, we might keep rolling forward. Thank you for your inputs on the quiz. All right, I get to introduce some of my wonderful colleagues, and you get to hear from them next. So I think we'll roll forward on the slides, and Katherine, over to you as our lead for architecture, platforms, and consumption and governance. Can you talk people through what that means, what your team does, and have a bit of a discussion on, as we look ahead over the next couple of years, what emerging architecture trends are you seeing, and what are you excited about? And maybe if you can give the people listening just some thoughts on, where you see things heading and what kind of skills you think are going to be in demand and what they could be looking to upskill in or go deeper in. Be great.
Yeah, thanks, Cam. Of course, it's definitely an area that we're seeing is changing extremely quickly at the moment. So there's definitely lots to think about in this space. So I'll start with a quick intro. So I'm one of what Accenture calls our Master Technology Architects, which is a small group of our most experienced architects globally. I'm based in Melbourne, and my background spans cloud architecture, operational analytics, and large-scale data transformations, both designing platforms, building them, and also operating and running those platforms. I've had the privilege to work with some of Australia's largest organisations to modernise complex legacy environments, and also to learn from my colleagues across Accenture who are implementing these kind of data transformations at some of our largest clients globally. And that's one of the things, like Cam, that has kept me really engaged and interested in what we're doing in Accenture, in that we get to see the challenges of our local clients and to solve those. But also to look at that bigger picture and what's going on elsewhere in the world, and to take those ideas and bring them to our local clients. So the capability group that I lead is architecture, platforms, and consumption and data governance. So our mission is simple: to design and deliver architectures and platforms that let organizations turn data and AI into a sustained business advantage. So one of the things that really defines how we do our work is our focus on practical solutions. So we're not just defining architecture on paper, we're involved right from that initial idea into a delivery to make sure that what we design actually works in the real world and is supported and evolves as the environment continues to evolve. And we're building platforms that are both performant, secure, and maintainable at an enterprise scale. So my team covers three separate areas. So the first one of those we call solution architecture. So this is where we start with a business challenge, often something that is messy or ambiguous, and we turn that into a tangible solution for our clients. So we're working with our clients to really understand where their problems are, what their business case is, assess their feasibility, and then to build both the technical and the commercial case for change. At the moment, as Cam says, we're having lots of conversations about how we can modernize complex, messy legacy data environments to increase the value that can be extracted from that data, both to consolidate and reduce costs, but also to enable AI use cases, which of course is top of everybody's mind at the moment. The second part of my team looks at platform architecture. So this is about building the technical backbone that supports our full data lifecycle. And that includes everything from collecting and ingesting data, transforming it, storing it, but also serving it and making it available for consumption through BI and analytics tools, but also to our data scientists and our AI models. We also include the platform components that are necessary to catalog and govern that data life cycle and provide that what we call a data marketplace. So that searchable capability for anyone authorized within an enterprise to access the data that they need at the point that they need it, to enable them to make data-driven decisions. So we're really focusing on building cloud-native scalable architectures and balancing that need for agility with the governance and the regulatory requirements that a lot of our enterprise clients are dealing with. So as Cam says, we're working with modern data platforms such as Databricks and Snowflake. We're working with our ecosystem partners in AWS, Google, and Microsoft, and we're also working with open standards and open architectures. We're really thinking about building AI-ready architectures that allow us to integrate machine learning at scale and to integrate our governance and metadata frameworks so we ensure trust, compliance, and lineage. In several of our large modernization programs, we've architected composable data platforms that blend open standards with enterprise resilience. Because I think the one thing we really do know as architects at the moment is that the tools that are available to us are going to continue to evolve and evolve really, really quickly, much faster than our typical enterprise clients are used to evolving their architectures. So building our architectures in a way that we can take advantage of the technology as it evolves is something that's really on our minds at the moment. The third area of my team is what we call data architecture. So this is the craft of structuring and organizing the data so that it is truly usable and accessible to a business, not just stored. So we focus on semantic layers, on data modeling, and the schema design that powers the analytics and also the AI. I feel like great data architecture is almost invisible when it's done well, but without it, our platforms, our data lakes turn into data swamps, and data becomes very difficult to use and very difficult to operate. And so moving to what we're seeing at the moment, of course, AI is at the heart of everything we're thinking about at the moment. But beyond that, we're really thinking about moving to that composable modular architectures, thinking about using interchangeable components that can evolve as quickly as the business is doing and as the technology is doing at the moment. Cloud native and AI enabled design is absolutely becoming standard, and we're having a lot of conversations about things like vector databases, retrieval augmented generation, and the platforms that are needed to manage large quantities of unstructured data and power AI. We're seeing increasing adoption of open formats such as Iceberg and Delta Lake, and the rise of universal data catalogs that allow us to connect data seamlessly across domains. We're also starting to see AI-driven data governance and observability, and these are two areas that I know many of you will be aware have historically taken a huge amount of human effort and are often seen as bottlenecks in the data platform. So being able to use AI to speed up those activities is really exciting. So for anyone looking to stay at the forefront of the field, I'd absolutely suggest continuing to deepen your expertise in the cloud and the platform engineering that I've talked about, getting really hands-on with the tools and particularly the latest features that are available to us. Explore automation, AI ops and observability, because operational excellence is as important as the design of the platform in the first place to our enterprise clients. And then, of course, think about and experiment with how AI can and will impact everything we do in data, from designing our platforms to building data pipelines, to maintaining those platforms. Like, so much has changed already in terms of what's possible, and it will continue to change really quickly. So I think the most valuable architects are those who can combine creativity with the discipline to design systems that are both elegant, resilient, and adaptable to ever-increasing change. Cam, back to you.
Awesome, Catherine. And I describe my engineers as the brawn and Catherine's team as the brains. So wonderful to hear from you. Thank you. And I guess leading on from that, Dimitri is on, who runs our Centre for Advanced AI. So if Catherine's the brains, then I think Dimitri, you're out in front of all of us as the tip of the spear. So maybe if you can explain to people, Centre for Advanced AI sounds pretty fancy and complicated. Can you explain to us what that means in the Accenture context? And then give us a feel for, what's your team up to on a day-to-day basis, and what are you seeing as those key things that are in high demand? Thanks, mate.
Thanks a lot, Cam. And look, I'm struggling to come up with an analogy. If you're the brains and Catherine's the brawn, or the other way around, then what does that make? What does that make our team? But effectively, in plain English, look, Centre for Advanced AI is like an AI engineering startup within Accenture. So we're part of Accenture broader data and AI business in Australia and New Zealand. And we're very much focused on what Katherine covered so well from an architecture point of view, really taking that enterprise data and AI architecture and transforming that into design and technical patterns and engineering that can be implemented across the multitude of clients that Accenture works with. And really, the Centre for Advanced AI globally for Accenture, there's about 6,000 of us, and we're really intended to be the tip of the spear when it comes to AI technical design and AI engineering. And particularly, and what we're seeing in the last 12 months in particular, is really helping clients to take their AI efforts out of that sort of proof of concept, prototype, proof of value stage, and really helping them scale that. And what we're seeing with enterprise AI efforts at the moment is that AI is quickly becoming the new SaaS, right? So we're moving into very much a vibe coding, natural language driven sort of software development lifecycle where clients can create applications literally in half an hour. And obviously these are not production or enterprise applications, but you can use natural language to create user experiences, user interfaces, and full applications that would previously take teams of full stack engineers and data engineers weeks to complete. But what that also means on the flip side of that is that there is a greater responsibility in terms of teams that are creating those AI-powered applications to then be able to treat them like an enterprise platform. So the considerations around reliability, around performance, around resilience all need to be built into that. And that's what Centre for Advanced AI really specializes in. It's really that AI engineering at scale and really helping clients to take those prototypes and those business value sort of proof points and really be able to turn them into working solutions. And some examples of where the broader data and AI team, including Centre for Advanced AI, have recently done that at our clients. We worked with a financial services client in Australia to transform their back office operations and really to augment their human operations colleagues with AI-assisted capabilities to really enable them to reason and understand large quantities of unstructured data, such as legal documents, customer contracts, and really present that information in a structured format to humans to then make decisions on. And that sped up certain back office functions and processes for that client by up to 60%. And really what we saw in terms of the transformation, a workforce transformation with that client, is that they were suddenly able to unlock much more capacity within their operations teams whilst keeping their headcount at the same level. They were able to unlock more capacity to drive further growth. We've worked with another insurance client to help them apply AI-assisted fraud detection to their claims fraud management process, and really be able to connect disparate data elements in real time that goes into an insurance claim, to be able to detect if there is so-called first-party fraud that's happening. And really, we're protecting both the client but also the insurance company from fraudulent activity. Another insurer that we're working with as well, AI-assisted claims underwriting, has enabled us to automatically assess insurance eligibility for greater volume of new customers for that particular client. Once again, being able to reason over complex, unstructured documents such as payslips, medical reports, and other data which would normally require humans to traverse and to review. Those documents can now be reasoned over by AI, and AI agents present a certain amount of reasons and decisions for human operators to then review. And finally, Accenture is working with the largest telco in the region, which has been in the news in recent months, to really help them to transform and become what they call an AI-fueled telco. And that involves transformation of the entire business, from the workforce all the way through to their data platforms that Cam mentioned, to their enterprise architecture around data and AI that Katherine talked about, and all the way through to actually putting AI front and center in some of their most mission critical areas of the business, such as into the contact center and augmenting human agents with live AI agents to be able to triage simple customer calls, putting AI agents on top of their network inventory. So being able to have a natural language conversation with how much real physical network assets, such as rolls of fiber optic cable, telephone poles, etc., this particular telco has in stock, and then to enable them to optimize their stock levels. And that sort of transformation really goes to the heart of what Accenture brings in, kind of the best of Accenture, where we have multiple teams involved, from data and AI, from software engineering, from architecture, to really help this client transform. And this is where the work that we do as Accenture Data and AI really gets connected to a real business problem. In terms of the skills and the sort of the archetypes around the people that we're looking for and the people that we hire in Center for Advanced AI, there's probably three key archetypes. From an engineering point of view, we're really looking for your typical full stack engineers, someone who's experienced with front end and back end development, and then someone who can develop modern applications on all the major cloud platforms, AWS, Azure, and Google. We're looking for proficiency in front-end frameworks, because often AI applications require front ends to be built. Remember, as I said at the start, like, we are creating enterprise SaaS applications often from scratch. So skills around React, Angular, Vue.js, etc., are quite critical. Back-end development with Node.js, Flask, similar frameworks, and strong knowledge of API development and API integration is also required. And we also specialize, of course, in integrating AI and machine learning models into those applications, and using tools like PyTorch, TensorFlow, and experience with knowledge graphs and languages such as GraphQL, etc. So really, the full stack engineers of 5 years ago, what we're seeing in the industry is they're quickly retraining and quickly becoming specialized in AI and LLM services, and their ability to be able to build those enterprise applications then enables them to integrate AI or build native AI applications quite quickly. Then the second archetype that we're seeing a lot of demand in the market for, and certainly what our clients are looking for, is really around the DevOps skill set. So as AI kind of moves from this experimentation sort of iPhone moment that we saw in November 2022 with the release of ChatGPT, we're starting to see AI becoming more productized. So it's becoming more standardized, it's becoming more consumer friendly, more enterprise friendly. And whilst we still need a lot of those full stack engineers that I've just mentioned before, We also need people who are able to stand up the DevOps and the cloud infrastructure to run those services. And again, same core skill set around the three major clouds, but this time we have people on the team are looking for a lot more people that have proficiency in those CI/CD tools like Jenkins, GitHub, GitHub Actions, etc. Strong knowledge of cloud security, again, across the three major clouds with a particular focus on observability, governance, responsible AI, and FinOps and LLM ops capabilities as well. Because it's one thing to be able to deploy an AI application to production, it's another thing to ensure that is performant, that risks are being monitored, and then the financial performance of that application in terms of token economics and token consumptions are monitored as well. We also have a lot of demand for, still your traditional machine learning skill set, but less about building the machine learning models and more about deploying those machine learning models into production as enterprise applications. So for example, a bespoke decisioning engine for one of our clients that was built in AWS using serverless Lambda services currently produces over 1 billion decisions per day for this client across all of their channels, and they're a truly omni-channel organization. And this particular decision engine then powers all their consumer interactions around next best conversation, upsell, cross-sell opportunities, etc. And that is essentially a set of fairly rudimentary machine learning models, but are wrapped in that enterprise application layer to ensure that they're resilient, stable, and they can support that kind of throughput. So skills around applications and frameworks like Kubeflow, Databricks MLflow, and others, and really around securing and hardening those ML machine learning pipelines is very critical. Familiarity with AI-specific risks and vulnerabilities, such as adversarial attacks, model poisoning, phishing, and other similar and prompt injection techniques, is something that's critical to our engineers. And of course, infrastructure as a code and experience and tools like Terraform, Ansible, Helm, etc., to enable our engineers to stand up that infrastructure and stand up those services in a scripted, reliable way. And finally, the third sort of skill archetype is really around that, what used to be called prompt engineering. Now, prompt engineering, it used to be, how do you write prompts in a way that gets the most predictable outcome most of the time out of a large language model? And there is a whole art and a science to doing that, and to be able to do that predictably at an enterprise scale using tools such as GitHub, using tools such as MLflow to be able to have those prompt libraries. And really, prompt engineering is starting to evolve and starting to become more about context engineering, where you're able to gather all of that corporate data across an organization, and you're able to then feed that into your LLMs in the context window to enable your LLMs to be intelligent and to be able to provide answers that are not just based on the corpus of knowledge that they've been trained on from all of the internet's publicly available information, but so they can also respond using the context that is relevant to your organization. So it could be your HR policies, it could be your risk policies, it could be your procurement policies, etc. So that context and prompt engineering is really a critical skill. And that's where we're seeing a lot of people that have only had an opportunity to really develop and hone that craft in the last maximum 3 or 4 years, right? Really since the advent of, sort of the AI era 3 years ago. And again, the key sort of skills there are around TensorFlow, PyTorch, API integration, experience in those code repositories and code management libraries, as well as experience with cloud AI platforms such as SageMaker, Zoo AI, Google Vertex, and all the common foundation lab models as well. So those are the three archetypes: prompt and context engineering, DevOps engineers, and full stack engineers. And of course, being part of the broader data and AI team, we work closely with Cam's group for all of the data engineering needs, and Katherine's group around architecture as well. And that's really where Accenture's at its best, where we can connect those different practices together. And awesome. The final point before we sort of hand over to Cam, or before I hand back to Cam, is the future of AI engineering will start to be less and less about writing those bespoke APIs, tools, MCP clients and servers, etc., and really more about connecting commercial services again as we move AI into more of that kind of product era, out of the experimentation era and more into the product era. And this is where it's going to be really critical to have people that are across all the different disciplines that are represented on this call to really be able to connect all the different services. They'll be quite easy to connect. And really, the craft will be in how do you use those services to solve a real problem, a real business problem. So, Cam, back to you.
Thanks, Dimitri. So, Katherine, brains, me, brawn, your tip of the spear with a team full of weapons. Brian, that must mean you're building our armour or something, are you, as our data assets lead? If you could give us a bit of a description of what that means to be one of our data asset leaders here in Australia and New Zealand, and what are you excited about? And maybe if you can give us a little bit of, what are some of the challenges we see building assets as well? So introducing you, Brian. Awesome, mate.
Thanks, Cam, and it's always interesting going after listening to Katherine and Dimitri go for a while. It's always tough to follow what's been said, but thanks everyone for joining. So Brian Lewkowicz, and as Cam mentioned, I look after our data and assets practice, which fundamentally is, if you listen to what Katherine spoke about, the governance and building these data assets and architectures, Dimitri spoke a lot about how they're building these new AI agents and how they're taking the new thinking and creating this greatness. What my team's responsibility really is to harvest this goodness that's being created across different parts of the organization, bring those together into the Accenture machine, as we call it, and turn those into repeatable assets that everyone can benefit from. It's all good, and Dimitri spoke about building these assets for an insurer that does something or for a telco that does something else. But my team's ability is to take those assets, understand what they're doing, and then create an environment that everyone can now scale that across their organizations so everyone can benefit from it. And I think that's really the exciting part about it, is how do we actually not just create really good things, but how do we turn these things into repeatable capabilities that we can continue to deliver, not only internally within Accenture, but to our clients across the board. So we really create this environment, what we call a safe environment, where people can play, experiment, build, test their assets, test their thinking in a way that we can become scalable. And once that's done, we take that and we just figure out how do we put the Accenture wrapper around it from a security point of view so it can be industrialized, and then we roll that up into the organization. What's really quite exciting, Cam, is my team's actually broken up into two parts. We've got the team that's really focused on taking the stuff that we spoke about and building it. And we're also part of the global Accenture network, which is around building assets globally. All right. So whatever we're doing in Australia and New Zealand, our job is to take those and share that with the rest of the world, which is really quite exciting part to be in. So that's one part of our team that we work with. The other part is around deployment of these assets. So, as Dimitri's team is out there creating these fantastic new AI and agents and MLs, we need a team of people, as you said, the armor behind it, that can now go and deploy this into our customers across the board. All right, so we have to skill our teams up to take these different assets, be able to shift between different ideas, and then how do we skill the individual accounts with this type of capability, which is really quite fun, because every day is something different. Every day our teams are faced with new challenges on assets that have been built that no one has really deployed globally, and we've got to try to figure that out. And then the third part is, and everyone can see on the screen at the top here, we're saying we're reinventing with data and AI. A part of the business that myself and Dimitri are very close to as well is around how do we now use what we're scaling, how do we use what we're industrializing, and how do we use it to reinvent organizations. And that's really a good part that we're really working with, is saying, well, what does an organization of the future look like, and how can we do that to deliver against that reinvention? And that's where we're spending a lot of our time. So, like, what are the challenges we're seeing, Cam? It's the challenge is not necessarily a challenge, but it's an excitement. We don't know what tomorrow looks like. We don't know where the world's going to take us. And that is a challenge, because we're trying to build for the future where the future is so unknown. So it's about how we're embracing that challenge and how we're using, this AI and these assets and this data to really help us understand how do we solve ourselves today and how do we solve for the future as well. And I think that's what's really exciting about our team. I can't go away without plugging what I need from a team perspective. And everyone spoke about full stack engineers, and we need the greatness across all the different products and platforms. For me, it's about mindset. right? If we have the right mindset of wanting to be reinventors, wanting to change, wanting to adopt, and have the technical skills, for me, it's around bringing people together that have that right idea of what does it mean to be a data and AI expert in a reinvented organization of the future.
Awesome, Brian. Thanks for that. And I think, for me, the differentiator is what you said, right? Working across the globe and the fact your team gets insight through that network. And same with Dimitri's, the collaboration outside of our geography, I think, is something that really sets Accenture apart from a lot of other, even global organizations that really operate a lot more locally. I think we genuinely see exciting ideas come through both of your teams to help us and the ability to help other countries. I don't think a day would go by for me where I don't speak to someone from another country on a topic in data and AI. So thank you. Probably enough of us talking about it, Brian. Do you want to actually show one of the assets that your team's built? I think it'd be great to get in and understand that.
Yeah, that'll be great, Cam. And I'll just take over the screen share for a minute or so as we do that, and hopefully everyone can see my screen as it's being presented out. What I want to show you here is Katherine, as well as Dimitri, mentioned a whole viewpoint around observability and understanding the landscape. And from an AI ops point of view, this is where a lot of assets are actually built. And this asset that I want to show you is how we're using data to really understand an organization's IT and infrastructure, and understanding how that IT and infrastructure serves the business. So as you can see, we've created this viewpoint that actually builds out from the data centers all the way up through the Azure MPLSs, up into the different WAN networks. And this being an organization, how it links to the payment gateway of a bank. And as you can see, as I hover over any of these nodes, we're starting to understand the topology between the upstream and downstream impacts an individual node might take if something might happen from an alert or an event or an issue or something that might happen in the environment. And as your AI is running, and even as your normal applications are running, you're going to make sure that everything is running as is intended. And if it falls down, how are we going to resolve it? So as these nodes are happening, as a service engineer or an observability expert, we'll generally find that if an error happens, we'll get a Teams message from from one of our chatbots that will say to us, well, did you know on this topology that you're looking at, we've identified that there's an error. And as those errors come up, what we want to do is we actually want to use agents to go help understand what's actually happened in this topology and how do we solve it. So if I go straight into my auto resolution of this particular activity, what it will come back to me, and I've actually got 5 or 6 agents all working together to go resolve this issue. So the topology is picked up that there is a network link that is down, an MB link is down, which requires me to bring together a whole bunch of utility agents to go solve this network related issue. I've got my root cause analysis planner that's bringing it all together. I've got a network engineer agent that's going to go try and understand what's happening on the network. I've got my knowledge base lookup agent that's identifying from the SOPs and the knowledge base of how to resolve issues if things go wrong. And then I've got an analyzer and retriever that can actually bring a report together. And all these agents work together in what we call an agent huddle or a trace that understands how they're interacting with each other to go solve the problem. And as we're bringing these problems together, the agents are then building workflows to go fix that environment. And through this ability, the agents can now look at the topology through the data that we've created. It's now surfaced into the view that's digestible both by people seeing what the issue is, and it allows us now to run this type of workflow that allows us to get the information back up and running. We can then create problem tickets so we can understand why this happened in the past and what's going to happen to resolve it in the future. And we can use this to start understanding and getting real good insights into how organizations' IT, infrastructure, applications, and AI is running across the organization. And this is one of the assets that our team has built locally in Australia. And our job now is to how do we take this type of information, take this asset, and extend this across the globe. This particular one is now global, and I think this particular use case that I'm sharing with you now, I think is used probably about 6,000 to 7,000 different clients globally use this asset, which we built in Australia, and it's been one of those ones we've industrialized, which is really quite exciting, and I'm quite happy to show you all today. So Cam, I might just hand the baton back to you to see if there's anything else you'd like to show.
Awesome, Brian. And I just note that in your favourites, you've got yourself at the top of the list. I think that's interesting. You like to chat to yourself there. We'll hand over to Dimitri to show us one from Centre for Advanced AI, mate. Awesome work. Hey, Dimitri, show us what you guys have been up to.
All right, Cam, I'll just check that you guys can see my screen.
And yeah.
Excellent. So what Brian showed around really that problem management, problem incident analysis, and the real-time communication using agents and how we're using AI. This is what I'm about to show is a solution that's built on Accenture's AI Refinery platform, which is an enterprise platform that really helps large clients to scale AI quickly. Everything from data to models to how you govern that whole stack to agents, which is what I'm about to show. So this is Accenture's trusted agent huddle product. And really, for those of you that may have played with tools like N8N, Flowwise, etc., this is the enterprise secure hardened version of one of those solutions that is designed to be run natively on NVIDIA GPUs, leveraging models that are running on NVIDIA. So that could be commercial foundation lab models, all the major ones. It could also be all the open source models as well. And really, the whole intention with Trusted Agent Huddle is to enable clients to create quickly through a graphical user interface to create teams of agents that perform a certain task. And a really cool feature about this is the ability to have this concept of a corporate agent library. So whilst you have the individual agents as well, which you can assemble into a team, you also have these pre-built teams that have been built by other users in Accenture as well. And if you fancy going to Atlanta and you'd like to understand the training planning for Atlanta, you can use that team as an example. So if I jump into one of the pre-created ones, and what I'm going to show is one of the pre-built agents that is designed to help us navigate the complex world of financial investment and financial advice. And I will say as a disclaimer, this is not financial advice, but these agents are there to be able to help you to answer some common questions, such as, and I will kick this off so it runs while I explain how some of the key components here work. Should I invest in NVIDIA shares now? So this will run, and this is running in our test infrastructure, so it will take a minute or so to provide a response. But really, we're able to organize our agents in a human-like hierarchy. Okay, so this is a very simple flow where you have an orchestrator agent that sits closest to the business problem and essentially decomposes my question into multiple subcomponents. And then the investment strategy advisor is then able to then call on various utility agents, one which pulls up financial reports, and another one which researches the latest corporate finance trends to be able to answer my question. The real power of this interface comes from both having a UI-driven configuration approach, effectively a no-code config approach where you can configure everything from which model an agent uses. So you can have different models use different agents. So you might need high precision, low cost for one agent. You may need the inverse for another one. So you're able to configure that. You can also provide access to chat history, as well as provide what we call context or instantiation of each agent. So this is where you provide agents with their personality and what they're actually supposed to do. And on the flip side of that, there is a low-code version where effectively all those variables are written into a YAML configuration file where you're really able to then ingest this into your software engineering and code development and code deployment pipelines, and you're really able to then insert and remove various prompts and really be able to give your agents both an intent and a personality, such as here, the sort of leading question and prompt configuration there as well. So again, this is a fairly basic configuration, but this is scalable to enable whole teams of agents to be able to run. And then to finish off, if I go back to my agents and see what they've done, the chat has seemed to disappear. And this is the perils of doing a live demo. So the chat results are there. I'll see if I can quickly rerun it now. But in the meantime, I'll hand back to Cam and we'll keep going, and I'll see if we can come back to this.
You're going to
Thanks,
leave me hanging on whether or not I should put money into NVIDIA at this point in time, Dimitri. I think that's a cliffhanger we all might need to know at the end.
The answer is yes.
I would think so based on their announcements yesterday. I just prompt everybody as well, right? We do want to make this interactive. There is a question and answer part of On Live. So please, I'm going to hand to Nihar and Shiraz to take us through a bit more of the about Accenture and what roles we've got open. But please keep those interesting questions coming. The last 10 minutes is really about us discussing some of the questions that you guys have posed. So please use the platform to ask any questions that you've got, and we'll do our best to answer them. Now over to our really incredible recruitment team with Nihar and Shiraz, and there's a vast number of other people inside Accenture to talk us through a few things. But delighted to work with both of these folks on a daily basis, to work with people that are candidates that are looking to join Accenture to make that fit of candidate and what we do here at Accenture really hum. So over to you, Nihar.
Thank you. Thanks, Cam. And the whole team. I think has been quite energizing so far. I feel like I need a refund for my 3 p.m. coffee. Look, so my name is Neha. I'm part of the talent team. Thank you so much for joining, everyone. So I'm driving the hiring efforts for Data and AI, specifically for strategy and consulting. And in a moment, you'll also hear from my colleague Shiraz, who leads the way on the technology side. Essentially, we both are the friendly faces behind those LinkedIn messages, job ads, interview invites that you see coming through from Accenture. On to the fun part. So I get to share what keeps over 800,000 people showing up at Accenture every day, fueled by passion, purpose, and generous dose of caffeine. First bit, meaningful work. So one of the things we love most about Accenture is the work that we do. It's not just building systems or writing code. We are helping organizations solve challenges that truly impact people's life. It is essentially that sense of purpose, doing what you think truly matters, that keeps most of us striving and humming at Accenture. We couldn't make any of that happen without our network and community connections. So at Accenture, if we could move to the next slide, as you could see on the screen, we are part of the global ecosystem of innovators, creators, change makers, close to 150 partnerships and alliances with some of the world's leading technology company. And it's because of this network that innovation stays right at the forefront of everything we do. The best part is that if you join Accenture, your network just doesn't grow, it multiplies. On to the next segment that's close to everyone's heart, career pathways. So at Accenture, there is definitely a structure, but we also understand that the growth is never linear. So it's not really climbing up the corporate ladder. It's more like climbing a wall. You can move up, you can move across, diagonally, depending on where your curiosity takes you. I often say, think about having your own personal GPS for your career, but powered by mentors, not Siri. I'm not a fan of Siri personally. And it's pretty common to see people starting in one team and somehow finding themselves thriving in another. They never even imagine, just following what excites them, which beautifully ties with the next segment, which is growth and development, bleeds into the culture side of things as well. So when it comes to growth, we take pride in sharing that we've built a place where curiosity is the real currency, where you can reinvent yourself without even ever have to leave. It's culture of experimentation where trying new things isn't just encouraged, it's expected in a lot of ways. And our culture is grounded in something we call stewardship. So it's the idea of leaving things better than we have found them. And the leaders, they strive every day very hard to not define success by what we achieve, but by what we enable others to achieve as we go on that journey. Policies. So we understand life happens out of work, family grows, priorities, shifts, curveball appear. Our policies are designed to flex with you through all of it. And if we could move to the next slide, the slide kind of says it all. So they say the proof is in the pudding. From innovation to inclusion to leadership, Accenture continues to be recognized globally for the impact we create and the culture we nurture. The last bit, my personal favorite, diversity and inclusion. That is not our side project. It is one of our superpower. Diversity and inclusion, sense of belonging. It is not something we chase. It's not what we do. It's who we are and how we show up every day in our engagement with people. We truly don't want you to just fit in. We want you to belong. And of course, it wouldn't be a real corporate presentation without the slide, the famous Life at Accenture montage. So this is just a quick reminder. Even we need our time. So while you're at it, have fun. Speaking of fun, Shiraz, do you want to go next? My partner in crime.
Thanks, Neha. That was wonderful to have a glimpse of how the life looks at Accenture. Hi, everyone. I'm Shiraz Mohammed, and I'm a talent partner for Accenture's technology business, and I'm based in Adelaide. I have the privilege of supporting one of our fastest growing areas, data and AI, where we bring together exceptional people, cutting edge technology and innovation to help organizations transform with intelligence. At Accenture, we truly believe the future belongs to those who can turn data into intelligence and intelligence into action. And our practice is at the center of the transformation. So we continue to invest in great talent who can help us shape and strengthen our capabilities across our key areas like data engineering, migration, and products. Now, this is where we build modern cloud-native data ecosystems using platforms like Databricks, Snowflake, and Palantir to enable faster, smarter decision-making. Second, architecture, governance, and consumption. This is where our solution architects and data governance experts design secure and trusted architectures that ensures the data is reliable, scalable, and business-ready. Third, data and assets. Here, our team focuses on automation frameworks and reusable accelerators that help our clients move from proof of concepts to real-world impact with speed. Fourth, Center for Advanced AI. Now, this is where we explore the frontier of innovation with AI ML engineers, LLM full stack developers, and agentic AI experts, creating next generation intelligence systems. And finally, strategy and consulting. Our AI strategists, data architects, and data scientists partner with clients to define their AI vision and translate into measurable business outcomes. So if you're passionate about data, innovation, and possibilities of AI, we would love to connect. Let's create the future of intelligence together. Please visit our careers page to explore our current opportunities, and don't forget to connect us on LinkedIn to learn more about them. Thank you. Over to you again.
Thanks, Neha. Thanks, Shiraz. And thank you, everyone, for the questions that have been coming in. We've got some really interesting questions that have hit us. I'm probably going to throw one firstly to Katherine. Sounds like you've been around Accenture a while. What's sort of been your most memorable moment at Accenture?
Thanks, Cam. It's interesting listening to Neha talk through all the different aspects of our employee value proposition, because I think, like you, Cam, I've had the chance to take advantage of quite a lot of those during my time with Accenture. I think one of the most memorable things for me has been the learning experiences that I've been privileged to have. So I've been fortunate to attend courses run by both Harvard Business School and MIT. And those in-person experiences where I've had the opportunity to connect with Accenture colleagues from across the globe and really learn from kind of the cutting edge of research have really stuck with me. The other thing that's I've really enjoyed is the opportunity to present at conferences and to connect with others across the industry. And beyond that, probably my other bucket of really memorable moments would be really making impact of our clients. So the go live of critical platforms, the deployments that take all night, but leave you in the morning with a project that's successfully delivered and a business that's continuing to operate, and the bonds that I've created with the teams that I've worked through some really tough moments in order to deliver that.
Awesome. Thank you, Katherine. Hey, Dimitri, one for you. And someone asked the question, what percentage of our clients want to talk to us about AI at the moment. I think I know your answer, but maybe you could give us a sense for those industries that you think are really, really hot in AI at the moment, and just give us a sense of the types of industries that you're having the most exciting conversations in as well.
Yeah, look, certainly my initial response to that when I read that, Cam, was all of them. And sometimes clients ask us about AI, but they ask about it in a different way. And as you pointed out at the start, a lot of those conversations start with data. You know, we've got messy data, we need to fix our data. And it's really about either enabling AI or it's about using AI to be able to transform that sort of data landscape. So, you know, one of the most common questions is about, I need to get my company ready for AI transformation, and how do I do that, and how do I get my house in order using AI? The other sort of common thing is really around agentic AI, and really trying to get granular around what specific business problems and processes are you looking to solve with agents. You know, a lot of our clients do ask us, you know, I want to agentify a really complex process, you know, something that involves lots of different steps and, you know, lots of different manual handoffs. And often when you work with those clients, you kind of realize that AI does play a part in that, but it's not the entire solution. And the old framework of people, process, technology, that doesn't change in the era of AI. And if you look at those complex processes, there's elements of all three of those, and AI sort of comes in, but it's rarely the only solution. And just to finish up, in terms of industries where we're seeing most demand, it's really those process-heavy, multi-geography, kind of multi-department sort of companies and industries, ones that have a long history and really quite a lot of legacy, both in terms of data and systems. So financial services and communications and telcos in particular, they are both those industries are really hungry to transform with AI. And one of the reasons, and sort of a common denominator there, is really around the need to ingest and process lots of unstructured information and data. Before the age of AI, that used to be a manual process that really only humans could do. You couldn't really outsource that to machines in any meaningful, scalable way. But AI really changes that, and that's why those two industries have really embraced AI in all areas of their business.
Thanks, Dimitri. And I think I'm going to lob myself a softball of the last question. Someone asked the question, how's AI impacting recruiting in Accenture? And I guess my own observation, right? We're still using humans. You're seeing them on the call, Nihar, Shiraz, and all of us to do the recruiting process. I guess what I'd ask candidates, right? Make a CV that's 2 pages that really tells your story. We do know, CVs are being generated by AI to match job descriptions. It's really obvious. So we actually, ask our candidates to explain to us, their career story, and really try and get to know what's at the heart of people joining us. And you've heard many things that are sort of near and dear to our heart on this call, but no, we're certainly not moving to a position where AI is making the decision on candidates. The actual part for us is, a desire to learn and continue to evolve with this industry, and a passion about what we do, and the ability to be a good communicator. Those things have stood the test of time for a really long time. We are actually out of time, and I do want to respect everybody's time that's come along. We are going to have breakout sessions where you can take some of the questions that you might have, specifically to have a conversation with Nihar and Shiraz. I really want to thank my colleagues for jumping on, so Katherine and Brian and Dimitri, Nihar and Shiraz, and the tech team in the background. It's not easy to pull together some of these calls, so thanks Dan and Jessica and Anitha and team and the tech team for pulling this together. I won't recap what we covered, other than to say hopefully you understand a whole bunch more about what we're up to at Accenture, what's important, and how you could contribute to things. There is a feedback form in the bottom of the OnLive platform, so if you want to take a moment to give us any feedback on today's session, we'd gladly take it. We appreciate you've taken an hour out of your day to listen to us, so we truly appreciate it. And if you do want to jump across to those breakouts, I think we're going to leave up how to do that at the end. But please do give us any feedback that you've got. Do sign up through our social media and sign up for the Accenture Talent Network if you go looking for that, which will let you know about our latest and greatest jobs. So thank you everyone for your time. Appreciate it. Hope to see you all around the various conferences and community things that we do, ecosystem meetups. And it's been my pleasure to host you all today. So have a fantastic Thursday. Thanks all.